going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. So today is Wednesday. Hope you're having an awesome week wherever you are. If we have a look at what's going on, the Bitcoin meter is almost at 9,000. Well, actually, it's around 8,753. But everyone has their eyes on the $9,000 mark and the $10,000 mark. The question is, will Bitcoin have enough push from the bulls to be able to hit a $9,000 or even $10,000 Bitcoin first, or do we have to see a massive correction? Also, I want to talk about a particular individual who's calling for a $500 Bitcoin. Yes, you heard me right. We're going to talk about that in just a second. And also, the mysterious time traveler has the post of the time traveler from the future. Well, that's been brought up again. Some people are starting to look at similarities between the post and the price of Bitcoin. So we're going to talk about all that today. But if it is your first time checking out the Crypto Zombie channel and you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? We do this every single day. Also, don't forget to turn on the bell notification so you can get updated as quickly as possible. Now, let's give this a quick refresh live. Now, you're noticing Bitcoin dominance is down 0.4%. Market cap is up $5 billion. We are seeing some love in the altcoins. Bitcoin SV is up 49%. What? Okay, so we also have some other coins up as well. Let's see who's up. So we have Bitcoin SV. IOTA is up 20%. Now, they had some crazy news that came out. Metaverse, ETP, Komodo, Bitcoin Diamond, Theta, Holo, PundiX. Guys, we are seeing green across the board. Very nice day in crypto. Pleasure to have you here. Now, if we have a look at what is going on in Bitcoin, we started getting a little droopy right here. We've recently kind of sprung back up again, right? So essentially what happened was, at first we basically hit this $8,900 level, right? We tried so hard to break 9,000. We just couldn't do it. But actually what's happened now is you could argue that maybe we've formed an even bigger wedge, potentially, right? So even if Bitcoin does sort of bounce around in this region, we might actually just be headed, a little closer to the end of this wedge, and we could be looking for another breakout around June 12th. Or we could break out sooner. Let's have a look. Let's talk about it. Because obviously the situation that we had was we formed essentially a bull flag, right? Here's the pole. Here's the flag. Now it's coming down right now a little bit, but if you notice, we actually popped above it this morning, and now this downtrend right here that was the resistance is now acting as the support. Very loose support. I mean, by the end of this video, we could be back down into the channel, okay? The other thing I wanted to note is we sort of got, we stopped right at this $8,400 level. So even if we come down here, will we potentially, say we get to the end of it, just kind of extending this out, oops, sorry, too much, guys. Hold on. So say we end up right here, we might see a breakout from there as well. And obviously, if we were to fall back down, we do have this support right here. So that is a good thing moving forward. Obviously, we have support on all of the EMA, ribbon as far as that's concerned. Now, this is on the daily. If you zoom in a little bit closer, it might look a little bit different. But currently, that is looking pretty good. As you can see right here, this is still our $6,400 VPVR level that we had on the big guy over here. Okay, if we go back to all this trading that was happening. So you can see right here, look how heavy that is. So I do think that that's going to provide some support as well short term, should we take that massive correction that we're looking for. But as we've been saying, as our buddy Crown would say, the trend is your friend until the end, and the trend is still going up. So we may just be following this line, and if we were to fall down, assuming the 20 EMA came up to here, maybe we have an $8,100 type of Bitcoin or something of that nature. But I want to talk about why it's really, really important that we've stayed above this resistance that we had before. And this is the resistance at the $8,300 level. And the reason being is because you could see way back here, okay, right when we were trying to break out into the bull run, right back, you had November 20th, November 21st, 23rd. Yeah, okay, so basically you had 5 different times back here when Bitcoin was trying to break above it, and it absolutely couldn't. And finally, when we broke above that level, you could see the next stop was all the way up to that $10,000 Darth Maul ultimate everybody got liquidated wick that we saw, right? So that is a very, very important level. And as you can see right here, also, when we were in the bear market, when we were going down in the 2018 downtrend, you could see that actually provided some pretty serious resistance back here, and especially down here. And then after that, obviously, we never even got close, and we continued downwards ever since. Now, obviously, we have broken above it, and if we zoom in, you can see that it is now acting as support. So this is something positive. This is a very good positive indicator short term that we are potentially in a bullish region, right? Now, obviously, as you guys know, we've been looking at this blue zone anywhere down here. If you bought anywhere down there, you'd be up. But the interesting thing to point out is that it actually, theoretically, even though it takes less money, quote unquote, right, to move the price, it actually was a bigger move and technically more difficult of a move for Bitcoin to get from 3,100 to where we are right now than to where we'd have to go to get to the all-time high. And I'll show you real quick just with a simple percentage, because remember that the market cap, you don't actually need billions of dollars to actually come in. It's only based on whatever the last price was multiplied by the circulating supply. So it's kind of like a bank in the sense where like you couldn't take all your money out of the bank. Like if everybody wanted to take all their money out of the bank at the same time, they couldn't. The market cap doesn't really 100% reflect that, right? Because we'd have slippage, we'd have people selling and stuff like that. But the interesting thing is that if we go to the low point right here and we look at where we are right now, you can see that we're up about 168%, give or take, right? But if we were to go from the point we are now back to the all-time high, well, that would only, hold on, let me get this over here. That would only actually be about 120%. So we actually have less percentage to go to get to the all-time high than the bottom to now, which is pretty incredible when you consider that. Now, I know a lot of people out there, including myself and others, were saying, where's this pullback? Where's this 30% pullback, right? That always happens every time Bitcoin has this massive run-up. We haven't seen it yet. People are being skeptical. Obviously, Josh Rager, he was the one that we were looking at this chart for the past 3 days now. And you know, when Bitcoin has its 30% pullbacks, it's usually followed by massive 100% plus, run-ups right afterwards, right? So you can see Bitcoin actually had a serious 26.3 pullback already. So was that the pullback that we were all waiting for? It happened so quick. Maybe that's the reason why it didn't feel like it was real, or it didn't feel like that was the one. But I mean, if we just go from the top right here, to basically where we had and then came all the way down to the bottom before we wicked back up, yeah, I mean, that was a 26.26%, decrease right there. I mean, that's pretty damn close to 30%. So maybe that was the pullback. Maybe that was what we were looking for. And now we are continuing forward, continuing onwards and upwards, right? That's something that you do have to consider. And as Max Kaiser said, there's very little supply between here and a new all-time high. In fact, he's saying $28,000 potentially could actually still be in play. Yesterday, we were talking about a $30,000 Bitcoin, right? So if we hop over here and we have a look, I wanted to talk about what Andy Cheng was saying. Now, he's the head of operations at Malta-based cryptocurrency exchange OKX. You might be familiar with it. And he's calling the $20,000 Bitcoin a conservative prediction, hinting that most speculators are less likely to exit their long positions now that Bitcoin has already rebounded by more than 180% from its low, near $3,120 in just 163 days. So he goes on to say, 20,000 is a conservative prediction for the Bitcoin price. As I said last year, the rally won't stop here because more institutional investors are coming into the market, and the 2020 halving, don't forget, is going to take place. He says, we're thrilled to witness such a bullish trend, and I look forward to a new high that Bitcoin deserves. Bitcoin is not just a coin, but a spirit that hinders the cryptocurrency industry. So there you go. And not to mention the fact, as Kevin Rook pointed out, the top 10 Bitcoin exchanges cleared 2 billion of trades yesterday. Just to put that into perspective, global gold markets cleared about 1.2 billion of trade each day. And I know what you're saying. Well, isn't this wash trading? No, this was taken from the real 10, right? You can come over here. Obviously, it's been a little bit lower. We're sitting just under 1 billion in the last 24 hours. This tweet was obviously from, when was this from? It was from 2 days ago. But basically, you can see right here, these are the top 10 exchanges as far as the real trusted volume is concerned. Binance, Kraken, Coinbase, Bitfinex, Bitstamp, Bitflyer, Gemini, Bittrex, Poloniex, and Itbit, okay? So those are the ones that are said to be the real 10. And you're seeing that the other day we had higher volumes than that of gold. So I think that's pretty incredible. And I also want to mention that it's not just the fact that you have traders coming in. It's not just the fact that you're seeing people moving out of gold. There's all of this excitement. There's definitely a lot more volume, whether or not you think it's real or fake. But also check this out. So senior executive at cryptocurrency payment processor BitPay, Sunny Singh, actually told Bloomberg that Bitcoin is only going to expand higher from its current point. He said it was business interest and endorsement of cryptocurrency that was fueling the current market-wide bull run. He says, you're starting to see that these currencies have real use cases around the world, and it's making people really excited now because they can see the light at the end of the tunnel for these use cases, right? And you know, I do want to entertain the bearish scenario because I know that sometimes I can get really bullish in these videos, and I don't want to be overexcited and everybody starts throwing in their money, you know, selling their house and everything, right? So let's have a look at Jason. I don't know what this guy's name is. Jason Calacanis. Apparently, it says Angel at Uber. Anyway, his point is, he says, my position remains the same. Bitcoin will likely be replaced by a new technology, and it's manipulated. Okay, we do know that there's manipulation. It's possible it's built to last, but not probable. So keep your position to an amount you're willing to lose. For most, that's 1 to 5% of net worth. Now, here's the thing. He says it will likely go to $0 to $500. Bitcoin going to $500 is insane. Going to $0 is even more insane. It's like just so unprobable that that's going to happen. It's ridiculous. And I like John Carvalho's response to it. He said, not the most convincing argument against it. Why do you think replacement is likely? What evidence or relevance does manipulation have on the Bitcoin persistence? Have you done the math on what size the market would be if 1 to 5% of all investment-ready wealth was stored in Bitcoin? Can you guys even imagine if you had 5% of this wealth invested in Bitcoin? We saw that less than half of a percent of people in the world have ever used cryptocurrency. And let's assume that maybe during the recent, pump, we're at 1% now. Okay, well, there's 7.4 billion people in the world. So think about that. That's crazy. As Malik put it, Bitcoin is not an investment. Bitcoin is a divestment from an unchecked economic system run amok due to decades of easy money printing. It's a hedge against systemic risk. And I want to point out this interview with Peter Brandt. Now, this is over at Alessio Rastani's channel. You guys may follow him. He's a pretty popular YouTuber. He's been around for a while. He deals with traditional markets as well as cryptocurrency markets as well. And I think Peter Brandt made a really good point, how Bitcoin is probably most likely not going to get knocked down from the number one spot. And he basically relates it to how the US dollar is sort of the oil, right, to the traditional system. Bitcoin is sort of the lubrication to the cryptocurrency system. So I just want to play this clip really, really quick right here. Check this out.
But it's just like in the world of fiat currencies. Ultimately, the dollar can go up, the dollar can go down, the euro currency can go up, it can go down, the yen can go up and go down. You remove the US dollar from global finance and the world seizes up. Yeah. The U.S. dollar lubricates the world of global finance and commerce. It is the driver. Global commerce, as we know it, doesn't exist without the U.S. dollar. And I think eventually the same thing can be told among all these cryptocurrencies. It is Bitcoin that will be the glue that will keep it all together. And so, why do I want to risk being in a coin that's going to be among the 99.9%ers when I can be in a coin? And like I even said, I told you earlier, I think there's a 50% chance that Bitcoin becomes worthless. And so you start playing with the numbers, and there's no probability for me to be in any of the other coins. I want to be in the coin that I believe has I want to be in the Amazon of cryptos. I want to be in the Apple of cryptos. And
so you guys can see right here, I mean, yes, he even throws in that he thinks there's a 50% chance Bitcoin could even fail, okay? Now, he's being very realistic about it, but you can see that he relates it to the dollar in the sense that, yes, even though Bitcoin we always compare it to the dollar. You have to realize that in cryptocurrencies, we compare it to Bitcoin. And we've tried time and time and time again to decouple ourselves from Bitcoin. But we find that with the exception of maybe a handful of altcoins, the rest pretty much can't do it. And I also want to just argue something else. Maybe we're looking at it the wrong way, okay? Every time we look at Bitcoin, we always look at Bitcoin in comparison to the US dollar. But have we ever looked at the US dollar compared to Bitcoin? Well, that paints a very different picture. And as you can see over the course of the last 5 years, this is the dollar's value in Bitcoin. And you can see right here, 0.004, and then we go down 002, 001, 0003, zeros. You see, like you are literally losing Satoshis by holding the dollar. So I think we should also look at this chart as well. It sort of puts it into perspective when you actually see the dollar losing value compared to Bitcoin. And another individual that puts this into really good perspective is Tim Draper in his recent interview with Bloomberg. And I want to play this for you because this sort of summarizes exactly the point that I'm trying to make.
When people ask, well, so what do you think has happened with Bitcoin? I say, well, one Bitcoin is still one Bitcoin. It always has been, always will be. There are only 21 million of them, and you probably should get one. And as opposed to comparing it against the fiat currency, because I look at currencies and I say, well, there's Bitcoin, and they say, well, that's very volatile. And I say, no, all the other currencies are very volatile against Bitcoin because they know that this is really transforming the world. And so these currencies that are tied to political forces or dictatorships or even the dollar, which really does have political influence and has to be the monetary policy has to be so precise to get it just right. Why bother?
Why bother? Exactly. So like I said, if we go back here and have a look at this chart right here of the US dollar against Bitcoin over the past 5 years, does this look like something that you'd want to hold? Does this look like a crypto that you'd want to buy or you'd want to invest in if it looked like this? So sometimes it actually helps to sort of flip perspective and look at it through a different lens, I just wanted to bring that up. I thought it was an interesting thing to discuss. Also, Bitcoin is valuable because it is hard, secure, durable, transparent, permissionless, unconfiscatable, open source, borderless, useful, scarce, P2P, sound, portable, divisible, immutable, empowering, programmable, decentralized, sovereign, trustless, neutral, global. Thank you so much, Rhythm Trader. See what you did there. So that is that. Now, I want to talk about what's been floating around lately. So you guys may be familiar. This is not a new post at all. This came out 5 years ago on Our Bitcoin, and it was a post by a guy named Luke Magnotta, and he says, I am a time traveler from the future, here to beg you to stop what you are doing. Now guys, this is obviously fake. I mean, come on, realistically, this is clearly not real. In fact, there are some inconsistencies in it already, but you can see right here, some people were actually saying this is crazy, because so far it's actually gone up sort of the way he says it's going to. So on average, he says every year so far, the value of Bitcoin has increased by about a factor of 10, from about 10 cents to $1 to $10 in 2012 to $100 in 2013. He says from here on, there's a slight slowdown. The value increases double every 2 years. So now you have $1,000 Bitcoin in 2015, 10,000 in 2017, 100,000 in 2019. So people are saying, are we going to have $100,000 Bitcoin by the end of this year? I mean, obviously, I'm going to say I don't think so. But then again, did anybody think that we would almost have a $9,000 Bitcoin this soon in 2018? Nobody called that. I don't care who you are. I don't care who was doing TA, who was looking at the charts. There is no one out there that was calling for a $9,000 Bitcoin by May. No way. There's just no way. I certainly didn't see it coming. But anyway, I think it's funny how he didn't mention the $20,000 Bitcoin. You think that would have been the psychological number, right? So anyway, they say from here onwards, there's no good way of expressing its value in dollars, as the dollar is no longer used, nor is any central bank issued currency for that matter. There are two main forms of wealth in today's world, land and cryptocurrency. Then they talk about citadels. So they say, what is a citadel? Well, by the time Bitcoin became worth $1,000, services began to emerge for the Bitcoin rich to protect themselves as well as their wealth. Well, obviously, Bitcoin has hit $1,000, and that hasn't happened yet. So anyway, also, I think this is pretty funny. Just side note, totally random. What happened to the Winklevoss twins? Look at this. The Winklevoss twins were among the first to die. Okay, that's not funny. It's not funny, but I don't believe this is real anyway. After seeing the enormous damage done to the fabric of our society, terrorist movements emerged that sought to hunt down and murder anyone known to have a large balance of Bitcoin or believed to be responsible in any way for the development of cryptocurrency. Ironically, these terrorist movements use Bitcoin to anonymously fund their operations, although we do know that Bitcoin is not anonymous. But, of course, John McAfee takes this opportunity to brag about his $1 million prediction by 2021. He says, I'm not the only madman in crypto, apparently. The guy who was never wrong about his predictions, although it's probably just a fake post, but I still think it's kind of funny. Although he did mention the difference between gold and Bitcoin is that gold is a commodity occupying space with mass, temperature, and shape. Bitcoin is an idea made manifest through a series of numbers with no true location or substance, a clever concept with infinite fluidity. To compare them is absolute madness. So there's all the craziness going on between, oh my goodness, so much stuff going on right now. I mean, you got to admit, the space is absolutely buzzing, guys. You got conspiracy theories, people saying Bitcoin's going to zero, people saying Bitcoin's going to 1 million. Just crazy. I mean, I can't believe how fast the space has been moving. And also, IOTA, obviously, if you give it a quick refresh, it was up to 20%. Now it's down to 19%. And that's because, you see, IOTA announces their Coordicide solution. So basically, they're taking the coordinator out, and this is going to make it more decentralized. They say with this upgrade, IOTA will be the first DLT to solve 3 fundamental problems with blockchain technology: high fees, scaling, and centralization. And actually, here is their video that they put out right here. And if you guys haven't seen it yet, I was going to play it for you super quick. If you've seen it, you could just skip right past it, but check it out. That way, I don't have to do the explaining. They can.
IOTA Foundation is proud to present the blueprint for Coordicide, a crucial step towards the first permissionless and scalable distributed ledger technology. In its infancy, IOTA's underlying data structure, the Tangle, was secured by a temporary component known as the coordinator. With Coordicide, the planned removal of the coordinator is achieved, replacing it with new security mechanisms that allow IOTA to become fully decentralized and geared for the new internet. One of these is a revolutionary voting module where consensus is reached through proactive communication in the network. We call it Shimmer. In the blueprint, we unveil all the modules and the freedom they bring for building and integrating. Because at the end of the day, IOTA is about freedom. Freedom to transact data and value without fees. Freedom for billions of IoT devices to access the network. Freedom to infinitely innovate. IOTA, infinitely innovative.
So if you guys want, you could check out coordicide.iota.org. Now, obviously, this is still in the works. They still have to deal with how the consensus is going to work. It's still very early. This doesn't mean necessarily that, we've solved it and that's it and it's done, but it is a very, very positive step in the right direction. A lot of people are excited about this, and a lot of people have been waiting for this opportunity to have the coordinator removed. So definitely keep an eye on IOTA. This is why the other day, when you had that Chinese rating system, the CCID or whatever they're called, and they put SIA above IOTA, I was like, no. I mean, listen, no disrespect to SIA coin at all, guys. I mean, I'm not saying that, but compared to what IOTA's been doing, come on, guys. But, I don't agree with a lot of their other things. Bitcoin's number 12. So, come on, guys. Come on. So that is that for that. Also, we have the ARC deployer is now live. You can head on over to deployer.arc.io now to create your very own custom blockchain in just 3 simple steps. So check that out, guys. And also, we do have an update from Unstoppable Domains. So they say that because Zilliqa's decision to delay their smart contract launch until June 10th happened, that actually has pushed back back the timetable a few weeks. So now they're looking to do the auctions on June 27th. So they say the auction is going to be split into 2 phases. Phase 1, you can purchase with Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, and Bitcoin Cash. Phase 2, domains will only be able to be purchased with Zilliqa. And they're saying that there is a cap of $10,000 on every domain. So basically, they're doing this as a way to prevent just crazy, wild speculation. So $10,000 will be the absolute cap, which I think $10,000 is an incredibly high price to pay for a domain. I mean, maybe if you're getting like bitcoin.zil or something like that. But I mean, yeah. So that's basically that situation moving forward. Also, I hate to do this, but I just wanted to reference this because it was brought up. So obviously, like, I've had a few people say to me, like, oh, you know, you've spoken about unstoppable domains a lot. How much are they paying you, right? So I actually put a tweet out the other day, and I said, I can't speak for everyone else, but Unstoppable Domains has never paid me a cent. And I had mentioned that, you know, I brought it up twice due to important updates that you guys were asking for. And then also I wanted to talk about Tim Draper investing. And obviously some people took this as I've never been paid. Guys, there's a difference between being sponsored or being paid to talk about something, like as if Unstoppable Domains said, hey, here's $2,000, talk about Unstoppable Domains, versus I just talked about it and used the referral link, and, you know, you guys chose to use that referral link. So yes, I mean, once the referrals were used, then, you know, I was paid, but I was never paid up front to talk about it. You understand what I'm saying? And you could even see, like Chris said, people don't still understand the difference between a sponsored video and an affiliate link. Can't please everyone, I suppose. Thank you, Chris. That's exactly what I was trying to point out. So yes, guys, obviously, if it was, I would tell you. So I just want to kind of clarify that before that gets blown out of proportion. Although I really don't want to end today's video on that type of news, to be honest with you. So one thing I do want to point out, though, is you got to check out this clip from CNBC and just listen to what they said. And on that, I'm going to leave.
By the way, Ether up 220% this year, and Litecoin, or off its lows in December, Litecoin's up 440%. Woo! By the way, there's a reason why sell the house, sell the car, sell the kids, buy Litecoin.
Sell the house, sell the car, sell the kids, buy Litecoin. Really, CNBC? That's what you're telling us to do? Oh my goodness, things are getting out of control. So that is it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by again, as usual. I always appreciate it. And yeah, I mean, guys, as far as the referral links go below, they do help the channel out. You guys know that. You know, you don't have to use them at all. I mean, I'm happy just having you guys stop by the channel, drop me a comment below. You know I love you guys. You're the reason that I get up and I do this every single day. Obviously, Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies is one of the most exciting things I've ever seen in my life, clearly, and that's why I do what I do every single day. So thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. You're awesome. Enjoy hump day. Enjoy the rest of the week. Let's hop over and see what Bitcoin's doing. All right, just chilling. Just chilling. So we might bounce around in this region a little bit more, okay? But that basically is that being said. So thank you so much. You are awesome. My name is K-Dub. This is Crypto Zombie. Until next time, stay crypto and peace out.